even get the wedding planner involved in this, and anybody that their target audience is newlyweds. So now they go together. Now you have two people promoting the book, two great pieces of information. And so you're collaborating with each other. So now when the real estate guy gets a client because of that book, the real estate guy is also going to say, hey, here's the insurance guy's business card. And he's also in the book, obviously. And they're going to become a team. So it is a great way to team up with people. And in fact, through our publishing company, our number one book that we published for people are compilation books
Oh,
where
wow.
there's more than one author. And usually there's anywhere between 20 and 30 authors, and they each write one chapter. So, and all of them have the same target audience. So you can imagine the last book we did, 20 different people in 20 different fields or industries, all promoting the same book, and everybody's getting expert exposure. So, I mean, it is just a game changer for your business. And if you don't want to write, there are ghostwriters. So, I mean, like I said, I've written many chapters for people, many books for people. My last client sent me over 30 pages, and when I was done with it, it was 140, I think it ended up being. So we do help with the writing.
Wow, that's really cool. So now let me get to this question here. Did you know that you were going to succeed as an entrepreneur, especially? And did he had like what I'm trying to ask is, did he have any doubts knowing when you became an entrepreneur? And if so, how did you overcome those doubts?
A ton of doubt. You're making me go back in my story a little bit. So when I was 12 years old, my dad began paying me to read books on life, business, and spirituality. Long story short, my parents really never cared about our grades. They never graded us for bad grades. I don't remember them even really looking at a report card except because we needed them to sign it. In fact, I dropped out of high school because the traditional school was not a part of our family's vision. And it was, okay, you can waste time learning exactly when and where and why the War of 1812 took place, or you can learn about business, own your own company, and be successful. So that was the difference in mentality that my family had versus a traditional family. But
Wow.
of course, I turned 18, and I did start some public speaking because my dad did, and he was too busy to take on all of the speaking engagements. But I didn't get to choose my own topic. I was getting hired by companies to promote their product, and they would fly me all over, and I would sell their product and do that. But through the midst of just starting out at 18, I wasn't consistent in my speaking because, of course, I did what most 18-year-olds do and wanted to find a way in mistakes. And so I moved down to Florida and partied and did some crazy things down there. So before I knew it, I had a child out of wedlock. And now my two brothers and both my parents, of course, were highly successful. They were earning around $13,000 a week. And I, on the other hand, was on welfare and didn't know what to do. So I went to college, became a corrections officer. Well, I wasn't happy. I really went to college, even though it was everything against what my parents taught. No one in my family has really ever went to college except some cousins. And so it was completely opposite of what I was taught. But I think I was just scared of the entrepreneur life, even though I had it in my head. I wasn't sure if I could actually do it. And watching my brother soar, it's almost like when you watch somebody else become so great, it seems so easy for them. And it seemed so hard for me. And so I did stray for a while. And I remember my dad called us over to his house, and he found this personality test that related you to a type of animal. And now you're going to understand why I call my publishing company Otter Publishing New York. So we all take this personality test. Remind you, I am on welfare at the time, feeling like a big loser of the family. And both my brothers went, my mom and dad went, and they all got, it was either a lion, tiger, or bear. It was that go-getter animal, the one who you're definitely going to be successful. You have everything it takes. And then it was my turn to reveal my animal, and I couldn't even reveal it. And I just started crying, and it shocked them. They're staring at me like, why are you crying over what animal you got? And I said, well, because I'm just an otter. I'm never going to be successful like you guys. And I dwelled in that for a while. Yeah, I continued to speak, and I was traveling all over the country. And but I wasn't on my own path. I didn't own my own business. I was speaking at an event. It was in Atlanta, Georgia, and the motivational speaker couldn't make it, flight issues, whatever reason. So the owner of the company said, Elena, would you get up there? Can you fill the spot for a motivational speech? We have to have somebody do this. And I was like, sure, no problem. From that day on, after I did that, it was such a great impact. People were standing in line wanting to talk to me, and I knew that that is what I was born to do. And so I ended up walking away from doing all the network marketing and speaking for the companies, and I started my own business. Now, when I did that, I was number one in the company. And so I really made a lot of people upset, especially my team. They're like, where are you going? You're abandoning us. But I knew in my soul that that is what I had to do. But I also had to go back and say, okay, I am an otter, but I can be that lion. I can be the tiger. I can be the bear, and you all just watch out. So I learned to really stay because it is you're generous and you're loving and you're passionate type of person, and generosity is really huge in leadership. And so I wanted to keep those qualities, but I had to learn the skills of how to be that tiger, the bear, the lion. And so it took me a lot more time. It was harder for me because it didn't come natural. But I knew that if I applied myself and I became a student and I put in the hard work, that eventually it would have to work. And of course, I had to drown out all the naysayers, and I had to just keep on pushing through. And you know what? You have days you wonder if it's ever going to work, but you just and keep growing, and eventually it will. And I think the number one reason why people don't make it is because they quit 3 feet from gold. So if you haven't read that
Oh
book,
wow.
get the book 3 feet from gold. And it's saying, you keep going. Maybe you're 2 years, 3 years, maybe 5 years in, and you're ready to give up because it just seems like it's not working. Keep going.